So this is my journal entry about my thematic statement, or both of my thematic statements. I started with what I felt was a negative statement. When I don't have company/community, I feel isolated, stressed, alone, lonely. Then I wander around my house and I feel anxiety, pain, and hopelessness. I moved through some combinations of positive statements, and then it was only when I pulled in a new doing word, doing sentence, that I came up with a variation, a positive variation on the sentence that stood out differently to the others. When I put in effort in things and people that are not conditional, I feel empowered, comfortable, and strong. Then I have space to be myself and experience durability, self-trust, and confidence. I tossed up between which ones I should choose, acknowledging my movement was a warm and grounded one, a movement of me pressing against the heat of plasticine against a window, and it was a very grounding movement. I felt that in talking about both of the thematic statements, I felt that the first one was more of like an opening, it was like a question, unfinished, pain unfinished and unknown what to do with it or how it goes or how to solve that, an open sort of sense. And then the last one was like an answer to it, put in effort with things and people that aren't conditional and feel this. And I used the movement, incorporated the movement into here with my companion Yi. We spoke about how this was for me, and it feels secure and held. When I think about the blank space and the negative experience, this blank space, it feels like being outside in the cold, and that opening a door, and it's the iciness outside. And then this movement kind of reminds me of something that I imagined in my head would be the antidote to that whoosh tundra feeling, which would be an amber, orangey, warm glow of a house, a home with people and where you belong, and there's cooking and lamps and chats, and this felt like almost like coming in from that outside cold and closing the door behind you, and being in that security and belonging. And so with Yi, I worked out which ways and where the word she offered that belong could go into the positive sentences. And so I played with where belong could go into that thematic statement. And there wasn't really a very obvious combination, but a funny sound came out between us that was just like blong, 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 and between us that space went from what is actually a feeling that causes me a great struggle, and between us creating that space ended up a place that my personality doesn't naturally go, one of humour and warmth. I do have warmth, but I find it hard to marry the pain with the humour often, and in that space with you, that came up. And so both of it, her laughter and enjoyment of it, I could bounce off, and we both were sort of like playing with that sound as it was, and that word, the variation of the word. We took I took the E out and wrote down blong, 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 and we pictured, it was talking about, how funny that would be and how much that would cheer me up later to be in that icy tundra space inside when I'm out in the world, and then suddenly think, wrong, and how that would make me laugh. And the nice glowy feeling I feel from that. We spoke about how it reminds me of the Mr. Men books and Little Miss books, where they're just nodding along, and I noted that the background to the Mr. Men books is the blank white space that I'm so afraid of, and they just live in this village with a blank white space and nothing's there unless it's drawn in. And I'm just realizing now, like, the meaning of nothing's there unless it's drawn in. Then maybe that comes in with the intentionality that I've put into my statement, where I put in effort. When I put in effort in things and people that are not conditional, something that sounds like an intentional statement. Maybe I need to draw in my world just like they do in the Mr. Men books and Little Miss books. But yeah, I really like that it's like this white blank space, and then they're all this colour and they can pop up anywhere. And I guess community as well. As I'm talking, I'm realising, community as well can pop up anywhere, and especially if we're looking for it, if that's our story. But it was really fun to then draw. It's back to front here, I think, because of the video, but to draw Little Miss Belong and blong, 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 and do my headphones and my hat and some boots I reckon I would probably be wearing if I was a little miss. And the people in the background, and a paintbrush because, budding art therapist. And it felt really good to draw that and to consider what my Little Miss story would be.